welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at something pretty serious, a data breach out of the UK. And honestly, it raises some deeply disturbing questions.
It really does. We're talking national security, intelligence operations.
Right, and also the fate of some extremely vulnerable people caught up in this. It seems like a massive leak, unprecedented, really.
Yeah, personal details of UK special forces, spies too, and literally thousands of Afghans who worked alongside the British military.
So our mission today, let's try and get our heads around the sheer scale of it, figure out exactly how this kind of catastrophic error could even happen, and explore the implications. Yeah, let's unpack this.
Absolutely. And just to set the scene, this isn't like a simple server hack or something. This cuts right to the core. The sensitivity, the volume of data, it makes it incredibly critical and complex.
Critical is definitely the word. The latest news, the thing that's really hitting the headlines now, is that personal details of more than 100 MI6 operatives,
Britain's Foreign Intelligence Service, yes.
and SAS, Special Air Service, other Special Forces people, their details were in this leaked spreadsheet.
Which is just staggering to think about.
Exactly. I mean, these are individuals whose entire job, their safety, relies on being anonymous, on secrecy, and now exposed.
These were supposedly classified secret names. They should never, ever have been compiled like this, let alone leaked.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. For people in these kinds of roles, what does exposure actually mean? Like, what's the real cost beyond just a name being out there?
Well, look, when a secret identity is compromised, it's fundamental. It's not just, oh, we need to retrain someone.
Right.
It fundamentally changes how intelligence can even be gathered, their ability to run sensitive operations, to recruit sources, to protect the UK. It all hinges on them being unknown.
So if that's gone,
If that identity is blown, it doesn't just make their work harder. It can make it, as one source actually put it, untenable.
untenable. Wow.
And that has direct, serious knock-on effects for the country's broader defense and security. It really hits their capacity to operate effectively.
That impact is profound for the UK side. But the ripple effect here, it touches this even larger group, and it just magnifies the tragedy, really.
You're talking about the Afghans.
Yes, nearly 19,000 Afghans who worked with the British over that whole 20-year conflict. People who applied for resettlement when the Taliban took back control in 2021.
A huge number of people relying on UK promises.
And here's the contrast that just seems awful. Well, the UK personnel apparently knew about this breach back in August 2023.
Right.
These Afghans, many of them, still in hiding or in incredibly dangerous situations, they weren't told until just this past Tuesday.
That delay is hard to comprehend, honestly. And the most acutely vulnerable within that group. You've got the poor, hapless 600 former Afghan soldiers and their families, their dependents, about 1,800 people still in Afghanistan.
Still there, knowing their names might be on this list.
Exactly. For them, this leak is, well, the term used is extremely worrying. And not just for them personally. Think about their relatives. Maybe relatives already in the UK or the wider Afghan community.
The fear must be immense.
It could have severe consequences, potentially life-threatening. Does that huge difference in when people were told? Does that strike you as strange, given the risks?
It absolutely does. I mean, when you know the kind of threat these individuals are under, and then you learn they were kept in the dark for, almost a year, it paints a very, very worrying picture.
It really does.
So, okay, the big question then is, how? How on earth did this catastrophic mistake actually happen?
Right. What went wrong?
Well, what we understand is there was a Royal Marine. He was on secondment, working at the Directorate of Special Forces based in central London.
Okay.
And his job involved checking applications from former Afghan Special Forces members.
Yeah.
Verifying their service.
Standard procedure, presumably.
You'd think. But apparently, in contacting some trusted members to help with this verification, he included an attachment, a spreadsheet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, a spreadsheet that had all these sensitive details. Not just the Afghans being checked, but potentially others too. And not just once.
Not just once.
Apparently it happened twice. February 2022. It just sounds like a staggering failure of basic data handling.
A monumental error. And what's really crucial here is how long it took for the Ministry of Defense, the MOD, to even realize this had happened.
They didn't catch it straight away.
No, not at all. It wasn't until August 2023, much later. And that was only because parts of the spreadsheet were anonymously posted on Facebook.
On Facebook, so it was out there public.
And excerpts of it, yes. That's what alerted them. And then the full scale of it all, well, it was kept under wraps. There was this unprecedented super injunction.
Now, super injunction, right? That's serious legal stuff.
Yeah.
Stops anyone even reporting that the injunction exists.
Exactly. And then a subsequent gagging order. So the full story, the extent of the breach, has only really started coming out very recently.
Which leads us to these really troubling contradictions.
Yeah.
Especially around what the Taliban knew and when and what they're doing about it.
Yeah, the official lines are interesting.
The MOD's version seems to be basically, look, the Taliban know what they know anyway, so there's nothing really to see here. Kind of dismissive.
Right, trying to downplay the impact of the leak itself.
And remarkably, you had the Taliban Interior Ministry spokesman saying something quite similar. You have nothing to see here, even mentioning some kind of supposed amnesty.
Okay. But what's fascinating here, and quite alarming, is the counter-narrative. The Daily Telegraph spoke to two senior Taliban officials.
What do they say?
Completely different story. They basically said, oh yeah, we've had this list since 2022, and yes, we're working our way through it.
Since 2022. And working their way through it. That sounds ominous.
Extremely worrying, yes. It directly contradicts both the MOD and the official Taliban line. So, who do you believe?
Exactly. And when the MOD was pushed on this, asked if anyone's actually been harmed because of this leak. Arrested, tortured, killed.
Their response?
They said they don't know.
What?
Or they don't have a handle on it.
They don't know after all this time.
That's what they're saying. As one report put it quite bluntly, this story just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
From a public trust angle, can they really just say, we don't know? Isn't that almost worse?
It's a huge problem. If they genuinely don't know, that suggests a massive failure of intelligence or follow-up. If they do know and aren't saying, well, that's another issue entirely. Either way, it's deeply concerning.
It really is. And given the initial leak was, like you said a few years ago, back in 2022.
Right, February 2022.
And the public is only really grasping the full scale now. It just raises massive questions about transparency, about accountability. You have to ask, are we, the public, meant to be satisfied that, quote, everything has been done to make sure that the damage is limited, especially after all this time?
It's hard to feel satisfied with the information currently available, and this raises an important question, doesn't it? Looking beyond this specific dreadful incident. How do we prevent this stuff in the future?
Yeah, what are the lessons here?
Well, the stark reality, I think, is that in our world today, the keyboard is almost as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than other weapons of war. A few wrong clicks.
And the consequences are devastating.
Exactly. It just highlights this absolute necessity for the government, for all its agencies to be. Well, the word used was completely scrupulous in how they handle sensitive information every single time.
Scrupulous. That feels like an understatement almost.
Perhaps, and beyond just preventing future leaks, there's the immediate need. They have to do all they can to protect those people still in threat in Afghanistan. That has to be a priority.
Absolutely.
And of course, ensure that the names, the details of the UK's own security services, the special forces, that they are kept secret so they can do the brilliant job that they do every day of the year to protect us in this country. Their effectiveness depends on it.
So this deep dive, it's uncovered just a monumental data breach. The impact on national security, on intelligence work, and crucially, on the lives of thousands of very vulnerable Afghans. It's immense.
It really is. The gravity, the conflicting stories, the sheer human error at the heart of it, it's all profoundly concerning.
It leaves you with a lot to think about.
It does. And maybe a final thought for you, for everyone listening. In this digital age we're all living in, how do governments balance that constant need for information sharing, for just administrative efficiency, getting things done?
Right, the practicality.
With the absolute imperative to protect extremely sensitive data and the lives that depend on that protection, especially when, let's face it, human error is always going to be a factor. How do you square that circle?
So what does this all mean? It's not just a story about one spreadsheet, is it? It's a really stark reminder of how fragile that balance is between secrecy and safety in our world today. A critical question, as you say, something we'll likely be grappling with for quite some time.